Hi, it's Ellie with Own Your Books. If you have Xero and you're tracking a Bank of America corporate credit card and it has sub-accounts, you may notice that even though you're tracking all of the expenses that come through the sub-accounts and you're paying off your credit card or putting a payment toward that credit card each month, that the sub-accounts or the sub-credit cards on your balance sheet just keep racking up a balance, and month after month it's getting higher and higher. If that's the case, there is a way to fix it and keep you from wanting to pull out all your hair. Here's what we'll do. We'll cover how to connect the sub-accounts in Xero's bank feed, why you shouldn't connect the parent account, and then how to clear out those sub-credit card balances in Xero. Finally, we'll look at your balance sheet so that you can see how the sub-account balances should look once you've cleared them out for the month. All right, part one, let's dive right in. So to connect the sub-accounts in Xero's bank feed, you just want to make sure that every single sub-account for that Bank of America credit card is connected separately. So if Bob, Jill, and Tina all have a card, then make sure that all of their cards are added as a separate bank feed. Then you can add the expenses in the bank feed for each sub-card like normal. Here's the thing though. You want to make sure that you don't connect the main parent account for the Bank of America credit card because we're going to be manually transferring the amounts from all of the sub cards to the parent card. In other words, we're going to take the parent card and in Xero, we'll pretend like we transferred money from the parent card to pay off the sub card. That'll put the balance of all of these sub accounts onto the parent card, where then when you make the payment, it'll pay off that balance. That'll get rid of that really annoying problem of the balance continuing to stack up on the balance sheet for your sub accounts. All right, so to clear out the sub credit card balances in Xero so they don't keep growing forever, what you need to do is open your credit card statement. And you're going to have a credit card statement date every month. Usually it's the same. In this example, it's the 7th of every month. Sometimes it could be within a few day range. So just look at the statement for that month and use that date, the ending date of the statement. So what you'll do is you'll use the statement date and you'll compare the transactions for your sub cards to the statement to make sure that all the transactions from the statement got marked and brought over into Xero. Then if they match, we'll just transfer the Xero balance for that sub card to the parent card, which I'll show you in a second. And then just make sure you add a note so that you remember what that transfer was for. Two things to be aware of. We're going to use transfers in Xero to manage this problem of the balances continuing to stack up, but we're only transferring this in Xero. We're not actually transferring any money between the Bank of America cards when we do this. So first step, compare the transactions in Xero and Bank of America. You're going to go to each sub card in the main bank statement and just make sure that those transactions actually did pull over into that sub card in the bank feed in Xero. If they did, you're good to go. You're going to make that ending balance, the $79.80 in this case, the amount that you transfer from the main card in Xero to the sub card that you're looking at. You use the statement date right here, the full amount, and then just jot down a little note so you remember what it is. And then as you'll see in Xero in the transaction feed, this effectively zeroes out the balance for that sub card. So now the main account's going to show the total, once you do this for all the subcards, the total balance for the card. See, here's the statement from Bank of America, and here's the balance on the main parent card in Xero. And then the sub-accounts are going to be zeroed out. So the only side note here is when you do this transfer this way for all of the sub-accounts, you'll need to go back into the account transactions in each bank feed for all the sub-accounts and the parent account and manually mark those transactions as reconciled. It'll look like this in the status section once you do that. Then you can use the reconciliation report in Xero just to make sure that that parent account has the ending balance that matches the bank statement. If it does, you've done everything correctly and your accounts on your balance sheet should go from showing the individual balances on the sub-account when your balance sheet is before the date to showing all zeroed out in the sub-accounts and the main credit card balance. So please let me know if you have any questions here, but hopefully this is going to help you stop from wanting to go crazy and it'll help your balances actually zero out in Xero and show your balance on the main card. Go kick butt.